CEO asked, "Why does your daughter call me mommy?" Single dad's answer left her speechless. Marcus had been working the night shift at Luminous Lighting Solutions for 3 years, quietly doing his job without complaint, without drama, and without ever asking for special treatment. He was the kind of employee who arrived early. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of small moments to change lives, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness True Stories. Also, tell us in the comments where in the world are you watching from. Stayed late when needed, and never once made his personal life anyone else's problem. But personal life has a way of showing up uninvited, and for Marcus, it showed up on a Tuesday morning in the form of his 5-year-old daughter, Lily. It was one of those mornings where everything went wrong at once. The babysitter called in sick. The daycare was closed for a staff training day. Marcus had an important shift he could not miss because the company was launching a new commercial lighting installation for a major downtown client, and his team was counting on him. With no other options left, he made the decision that terrified him most. He brought Lily to work. He tucked her into the corner of the supply room with her coloring books, her favorite stuffed rabbit, and a firm whispered instruction to stay quiet and stay put. He promised her it would only be a few hours. Lily, being Lily, nodded seriously like she fully understood the weight of the situation, clutched her rabbit and said, "Okay, Daddy, I'll be invisible." Marcus threw himself into the morning's work, coordinating the lighting fixture inventory, double-checking the installation specs, and briefing his team on the day's schedule. He was deep in the middle of a supply count when he heard footsteps behind him and turned to find something that stopped his heart cold. There was Lily standing in the open doorway of the main warehouse floor, and beside her, looking equally surprised, was CEO Diana Hargrove. Diana had come in early for a site walkthrough before the client arrived. She was dressed sharply, tablet in hand, completely professional, completely composed, until the small child standing next to her tugged on her blazer sleeve and looked up with wide, serious eyes and said, "Are you the boss lady Daddy always talks about? He says you're very smart and very busy." "You look like a mommy," Diana blinked. She glanced from the child to Marcus, who was crossing the floor in long, urgent strides, his face burning with embarrassment and apology already forming on his lips. Before he could say a single word, Lily added with complete innocence and devastating honesty, "Daddy, why does she look like a mommy?" "Can she be my mommy?" The warehouse went very still. 2 other workers nearby found something urgent to look at on the ceiling. Marcus crouched down to Lily's level, gently took her hand, and looked up at Diana with the most honest, unguarded expression he had worn at work in 3 years. "I'm so sorry," he said quietly. "Her mother passed away 2 years ago. She asks that about most women she meets. I had no childcare today, and I had no choice but to bring her in. I will cover any disciplinary action. I just needed to be here for the team today." Diana looked at him for a long moment. Then she looked at Lily, who was clutching her stuffed rabbit and watching Diana with hopeful, patient eyes that had clearly learned to wait for the world to decide whether it was going to be kind or not. Diana set her tablet down on the nearest shelf. She crouched down to Lily's level and said, "Hi, I'm Diana. I'm definitely the boss lady. And I think you are the most professional assistant we have ever had in this building." Lily giggled. Diana stood back up and looked at Marcus and said, "She can stay in my office. I have a couch, markers, and a whole bowl of fruit snacks. She will be better off than most of the adults here today." Marcus stood there for a moment, completely speechless, his throat tight with something he had been holding back for 2 very long years. That afternoon, after the client visit was a full success, Diana quietly updated the company policy to include emergency childcare accommodations for single parents. She never made a speech about it. She just changed it. Sometimes the most powerful people in the room are the ones who choose to use that power simply and gently for someone who never even asked. If this story touched your heart, please show your love and support by giving a like, sharing it with someone who needs to smile today, and subscribing to Kindness True Stories for more real and heartwarming stories that remind us what truly matters in life.